2024 NFL trade deadline might go down in history as one of the best we've seen in recent years. How many Pro Bowlers were moved within this deadline? Now, the NFL trade deadline is typically a pretty big deal. I'm not going to compare it to the NBA deadline. In the NBA, almost every single team makes a trade at the deadline. That is not the case in the NFL. We typically see one or two big name players moved leading up to the deadline or on the actual date. This year, we saw, 5, 6, 7 different Pro Bowlers moved to different teams. Let's kick us off, though, with the Jets finally adding Devonte Adams. Now, this trade did happen on October 15th, so we have seen a few games with Devonte Adams in New York. First game, let's be honest, it was not pretty. They lost. They got killed by the Steelers. Next week, they looked good. Garrett Wilson, Devonte Adams, Aaron Rodgers, everything was clicking. Now, will the Jets make the playoffs? It is going to be an uphill battle. Their schedule, I believe, is actually pretty easy going forward. They're going to have to almost win out to make the playoffs. We'll have to wait and see how, I guess, at the end of the season, come back to this trade and see, was it worth it? But for what they gave up, a third-round draft pick for Devonte Adams is very talented. He might be 31, 32 years old, but he is a very good football player. There's no denying that. Does New York get better off of this trade? Was wide receiver a position of need for them? Not necessarily, but Devonte Adams and Aaron Rodgers, they go back, and well, we've seen it work in the past. Hopefully New York can turn it around. For Vegas, they had to blow it up. That team is not good. You're wasting a prime. Is Devonte Adams in his prime? He's in his prime. You're wasting prime years of Devonte Adams on a team with no quarterback. Good plays by both teams. Was it the biggest need for the Jets? No, I think anyone with the, a proper brain cells can kind of put that together. They didn't need another top-tier wide receiver. They have it now. Nobody's complaining, but let's see if the Jets can, put it together, turn it into wins, and maybe turn into a playoff team. That same day, though, we did see the Bills go get Amari Cooper. Now, Cooper did get hurt this last week, so he didn't play in this previous week's games, but the week before, he looked really good. I believe he scored a touchdown. Same thing goes for Cleveland. That team is a dumpster fire. I don't know what's going on over there in Ohio, but the Bills look like the best team in the AFC. Not named the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs, they're just on one. But Buffalo looks really good. Bringing in Amari Cooper doesn't hurt. They did pay a little bit of a premium. A third-round pick is a premium price to pay, but I think Amari Cooper does bring in third round. I guess he's worth more than a third-round pick, but the way NFL teams value draft picks, everything is just increased by $1 million. We'll take a look at that in a second when we get to shit on the Cowboys. But Bills, Amari Cooper, we've seen a week of it. It's been good. We'll have to kind of wait and see. The Bills will make the playoffs. Obviously, that team is disgusting. Keon Coleman's turning up. Again, though, he only played one game, but it looks good. The Cam Akers trade really hasn't turned into much yet. It's, running back 2 for a 6th-round draft pick. You're basically just not drafting a rookie running back, bringing in somebody who has, used to their system. They trade for Cam Akers 2 years ago, let him walk, and then bring him back. It was something along those lines of I think that's what Minnesota did. Regardless, though, we'll have to wait and see. This trade is just what is going on. There's something about Tennessee letting star players walk and then they just turn back up. A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins. I've seen that graphic all over my Instagram today. Shout out Bleacher Report, but it's true. D-Hop had a freaking game last night. I guess 2 nights ago. I'm recording this at night, but 2 nights ago. He looked good. I'm not going to say prime D-Hop because that was a different beast, but he looked legit. I also saw a graphic of the routes he was running. For Tennessee, he was running only routes on the left side of the field, outbreaking routes. For Kansas City, he was running everywhere. D-Hop is a top 20 wide receiver in the league. Is he top 10 anymore? I don't think so, but he is still top 20. And, Tennessee gave that a top 20 talent to the Chiefs, the best team in the league. They are still undefeated to this date. Have they looked like the best team in football? No, but record-wise, they are. They let them get that for a 5th-round draft pick. Tennessee needs to do some soul-searching. The Seahawks and Titans, it's a trade we've talked about on the channel before. I don't care about the Titans, to be honest with you guys, except when they trade D-Hop to the best team in football, record-wise. This trade is whatever. The New England Patriots and Joff Uche sending him to Kansas City. Yes, I pronounced that name wrong. I get it, but he is a good player. I have watched his film. I have seen this guy play football. He is very good. Obviously, the Patriots are not the best team in the league. They're probably a bottom 3 team, but he is good. and another gem in the mine, I guess you could call it, for the Chiefs. It's going to be interesting. The Chiefs are going all in for this three-peat. Does it hit? I don't know. It's really hard to bet against Mahomes. I'm just going to say it right now. Mahomes is the best player in football. I don't care what his stats say. He is the most talented player in the league. The Chiefs are just loading up this roster. D-Hop, they got Josh. It's going to be a hard team to beat. You know, Lamar Jackson's looking like MVP Jackson. Josh Allen looks insane. But it's the Kansas City Chiefs. That defense looks lethal, and they're just getting better at this year's deadline. This trade here is interesting. Carolina gave up Deontay Johnson for a 5th-round draft pick. They also sold off Jonathan Mingo for a 4th. Who is better? It's Deontay Johnson. I really like this pickup for Baltimore. Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman were a two-man show, but really just Zay Flowers was turning up. Bateman was just kind of existing. They now have Deontay Johnson. Johnson being a very good route runner. It's a near perfect fit in Baltimore. That offense is scary. Lamar is playing like an MVP. Derrick Henry is turning back the clock. Zay Flowers is a stud. Mark Andrews is finally being a football player again. Kansas City, like we just said, they're gearing up for a championship run, but Baltimore, this could be their year. I think the entire world wants a Baltimore Lions Super Bowl or a Baltimore Commanders Super Bowl. That would be fun. The world doesn't want to see the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs, there's a good chance they make it back. It's almost impossible to three-peat in this league, and that is because, teams are just consistently getting better, and this trade definitely helped Baltimore's chances. This trade is just kind of ironic. Minnesota ran a play with no time left on their Thursday night game against the Rams. Their starting left tackle, Garasau, out for the year. By the way, he was playing like an all-pro. Days later, October 30th, so literally days later, it was Monday Night Football, so yeah, 2 days later, they traded for Cam Robinson, somebody who was known to be on the block. He's a good player for the Jags. Jags just aren't very good this year. That is something I do want to deep dive into. What happened to Trevor Lawrence? Like, the dude used to be the prodigy, and now he can't throw the ball to Brian Thomas without it going 25 yards over his head. This trade, though, it is kind of like the Vikings are trying to buy into the Super Bowl run. They haven't looked nearly as good over the last 3 weeks. Yes, they beat the Colts, but they were also starting LeBron-age Joe Flacco, who does not play like LeBron. This is the trade here I actually really liked. Cardinals, they need pass rushing help. This was the first trade of the day today. Or I guess yesterday. You guys are seeing this on the 5th, the 6th, whatever the day after the deadline is. The dates are, it's late. I like this trade a lot. Arizona needed help on their defensive line. Browning, very good, very young prospect right here. A 6th-round draft pick is not it's a premium to pay, but like it's also not a premium to pay. The odds of you drafting somebody with Browning's talent in the 6th round, significantly less than just getting the guy straight up. You do have to pay him, but I think he is worth every penny. This trade right here is, I'm going to call it the 3rd best trade of the day. The Lions bringing in Zadarius Smith. The title here is they find the replacement for Aiden Hutchinson. You're not going to be able to directly replace Aiden Hutchinson. That dude is disgusting. He was going to win DPOY, unfortunately does get hurt. But bringing in Zadarius Smith from a Cleveland Browns team who probably should have sold more, I'm here for it. He is a very good player. He does have injury concerns. I get it, but still. 5th and a 6th for a potentially Pro Bowl talent outside linebacking edge rusher is a very good price to pay. Cleveland just needs to get money off their books. They're going to be paying Deshaun Watson way too much money to be sitting on their sidelines for the next 2 to 3 years. So getting a big name player who, yes, I get it, he's good. Cleveland isn't very good. Get it off their books, move on, get some draft capital in return. I'm here for it. The Bengals got Khalil Herbert from the Chicago Bears. A stat I read today, the Bengals have made 4 in-season trades ever in their existence of their team. And one of them being a 7th rounder for Khalil Herbert. Now, Khalil Herbert is a good football player. He was a healthy scratch last week because the Bears were just trying to trade him. When he has actually gotten run, he has been good. He's just been basically ran out of the lineup this year. Roschon Johnson, DeAndre Swift are both turning up. They basically brought in a better version of Khalil Herbert with DeAndre Swift. But I do think behind Chase Brown, Zach Moss just got put on IR for the entire year, rip my fantasy team. But I do think Herbert has potential to be a good running back too in Cincinnati. That offense has looked really good over the last, 5 weeks, ever since, Joe Burrow decided to turn up. But the fact that Khalil Herbert is one of 4 in-season trades of all time in the Bengals franchise history is just really funny. This trade right here makes absolutely no sense. Cowboys add young wide receiver on deadline day. I don't know what's going on. The Cowboys sent the Panthers more draft capital than the Ravens sent the Panthers for Deontay Johnson. The Cowboys got Jonathan Mingo. Yeah, Jonathan Mingo was a second-round draft pick out of Ole Miss. Whatever, dude. He has not done he's done nothing in the league. Deontay Johnson is he a tenured veteran? He's a proven veteran. He has shown what he can do in the league. He is a good player. I don't know anything about Jonathan Mingo because he hasn't done anything. I saw a report that Jerry Jones really liked Mingo during the draft process, and now he has his guy, but there were better options available. I saw Courtland Sutton, a name that was available in trade talks. I saw Adam Thielen was on this team. I would have preferred them went out and sent the same draft capital for Adam Thielen. Yes, Thielen is hurt, or I guess Thielen's old and hurt, but still. I also don't understand why the Cowboys are buying at the deadline. It's not like they're going to be very good this year. Dak's hurt, CD's banged up, Cooper Rush is at least going to start the next few weeks. I don't know what's going on in Dallas, but Cowboys fans, you guys are in for one. The biggest trade of the day did come from my Washington Commanders. Fellas, I am 21 years old. I have seen, 3 to 4 half-decent Commanders teams. This is the most excited I have been about Commanders football in my entire life. We are not buyers at the trade deadline, except for this year. Last year, we were literally sellers selling off Chase Young and Montez Sweat. This year, we're bringing in an all-pro DB. Now, before I sit here and just say how great Lattimore is, let's go through the cons. He is hurt right now. He is 28 years old, which, isn't that old, but in the terms of NFL, you could make the argument he's getting up there. He also is hurt right now and does have that injury history. I said hurt twice, so all you Cowboy, Giants, and Eagles fans can just, get it out of your system. Now let's glaze. All-pro, Pro Bowler, stud, corner one. Oh my God. We do not make trades like this. We do not buy at the deadline. We turned Jahan Dotson, we got a 3rd round pick for him, basically into Marshawn Lattimore. Yeah, we had to give up a 4th and a 6th. The 6th was also New Orleans 6th we got from them for John Ridgeway. And the 4th and the 3rd are our 4th and 3rd, but we still have a 3rd rounder for Jahan Dotson. We're getting a 5th back in return. I don't really care about the 5th. We have Marshawn Lattimore. We have a DB1. Biggest issue with this team over the last few seasons has been our defensive back room. Yes, we drafted Mike Sanders still. Ben St. Juice looks half decent. Emmanuel Forbes blows. But we got Marshawn Lattimore, and I'm very excited with this one. We'll have to see how it plays out, but it's a big deal, fellas. I'm excited. This one right here, not nearly as exciting for me, but Steelers fans definitely, not terrible. Jets did get a 5th round draft pick for Mike Williams. Mike Williams is on a 1-year contract, so it's basically a 1-year rental. If it doesn't work out, well, then you can go somewhere else. They got their guy outside of George Pickens. Steelers have been looking for that wide receiver to pair up with Pickens since Brandon Ayuk, and, Christian Kirk broke his collarbone, kind of put that trade on hold. And they ended up going out for Mike Williams. What I like about this trade right here is they can still go get Christian Kirk next year if they want Mike Williams. They can just let him walk. It's a 1-year expiring deal. And if it doesn't work out, like I just said, they can go out and get anyone they want. They liked Christian Kirk, so if they want Christian Kirk, go and get him. That wasn't all, though, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the trade I just don't understand on Green Bay's sense, unless they want to get the money off the books. I don't know what Preston Smith's contract situation looks like. You guys can't tell I'm just doing this video purely off the vibes of what's going on right now. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I don't really understand this trade on Green Bay's sense, like I said, but I get what Pittsburgh's wanting to do. They're really good this year. Just keep bolstering up that defensive line. I mean, TJ Watt could be the MVP this year, to be completely honest with you guys. I know he's not going to win it, but he is playing really good. 7th rounder, though, for Preston Smith. I mean, it's a trade that happened today. This is the most Baltimore Ravens trade of all time, trading for an aging player on an expiring deal that is going to come in and make a meaningful impact. Tre'Davious White is not the player he was in Buffalo, but he is still a good football player. A 6th round pick for a good football player, and also getting a 2027 7th round draft pick in return. Odds are nobody remembers this trade in 2 years, but hey, there's a chance that Tre'Davious White can turn his career around in Baltimore. That Baltimore defense has not looked great over the last few weeks, too. In the last trade, we got Khalil Davis to the San Francisco 49ers from the Texans for a 2026 7th round draft pick. Yeah, that was, I guess, something that happened today as well. It's a trade. It happened. I don't really have too many thoughts on it. I do know the Niners do have Khalil Davis and Kahali Davis, which is kind of funny. That's everything we got, though. Moshi 2 out. Love you guys. Peace.